Welcome to the video about my May colored pictures. Recently on my channel you mostly watched videos from Magic Mouse book, and there are two reasons for this. First one, it's because in the end of May I hope to visit my family in southern Ukraine, so I am away from Kiev for several days, and I filmed this video in advance to be able to post it in the beginning of June, and I wanted to keep my channel alive, so in advance I recorded several videos from Magic Mouse and I put them on YouTube. I hope that you still enjoyed them. And the second reason is because Magic Mouse is definitely a book which always put a smile on my face. Last months they were challenging, taxing, and I needed something to improve my mood. When I color in Magic Mouse, I can do quick works. I always have fun selecting new, even unusual color combos, and they are so positive, so for me they are definitely anti-stress. That's why I color in them so frequently. Couple of days ago, I hope that you were able to watch video about all my finished pictures in Magic Mouse Springtime. So far, I managed to finish only 21 pictures out of 35 in this book. And well, I hoped to be able to finish this book during all 3 spring months, but no. I still have a lot of work ahead of me. But from the June and to July and August, I want to color summertime book because it's also gorgeous. Maybe from time to time I will return to Magic Mouse Spring, but well, it's time to start another one. I ask you to watch that video with all my finished pictures here, but if you don't want to, here are pictures which I added in May. Here we have Mouse with all her company, almost all company, having picnic. I decided that here I don't want to do all green leaves, so they have also leaves which I turned into flowers. And I think that it was inspired by wisteria or other similar trees with beautiful flowers. And it's absolutely adorable how they share food and how we have this bug sitting on the back. Very nice and very fun picture. That's another one. Here, when I started to do it, the only thing I knew is that I wanted to try a yellow background and I wanted to do this purple leaves. It was interesting. Well, I wasn't sure about color for the bushes behind, but the rest I think that it matched nicely one to another. It's always fun to select color for the mouse head. For me it's like final touch and it helps me to attract more attention to this adorable little creature. Here we have mouse with map. This one I did with Artix pencils. When I did it, I was sure that I almost ruined it because I wasn't very familiar with all color combos with Artix. So for the stones here on the road, I tried to this color combo with terracotta colors, and first they looked too bright, too intense, so I had to cover them with another layer of darker brown to make them more muted and less intense. In the end, I think that when I added this more calm color for the wall, this unusual yellow leaves, everything started to look much more well balanced. And as usual, I absolutely love how they interact together, Worm and Mouse. They have such a nice company. Here I have Mouse having fun with her friend Chicken. I think that maybe they are expecting rain, that's why I did this stormy dark sky, so they try to find some shelter, and I call this one Run Run Run. I divided this ground into 2 areas. Maybe we have some kind of field, something growing here, and here we have simple grass. So it was a nice practice for the various green colors. That's probably one of my favorites, together with duckling. So here we have a lamp and I am quite proud that I decided to do this very unusual for me background color, but it created a very nice contrast to the white, slightly grayish fur of the lamp, and I think that in such way lamp perfectly stands against the background color. It's very difficult to remember which one I did this month. Oh, definitely that was May work, because I was inspired by unusual, I believe that they are some kind of Asian plum trees, which I found in our park. And those trees, they had very unusual dark black cherry leaves and lighter pink flowers, so they were quite spectacular in full bloom, and I wanted to use that color palette somewhere on my works. So when I remembered about this page, which I called Spring in Pink, I decided that it would be perfect to test this color palette here and to memorize these spectacular interesting trees. It's a pity that I didn't check what exactly the name of this tree. Here I have my gardening mouse. I wanted to do both pictures. Here they started their journey to garden something, and they have another page where they actually plant seeds. But I didn't have enough time. But at least it was fun. I especially love the clothes of the mouse, are nice. And look at this adorable worm wearing hat. Very nice. This one is exercise, again made with Arctic pencils. With Arctics, I think that I do like to do backgrounds in this book, but for me it's not possible to do fur. Even with very light layering, which I do here, I don't think that with Arctics for me it's easy. I think that Prismacolors blend and layer much better, so for fur I still prefer to use my color combo which I selected once, and I use those beige sienna, French grey, eggshell, light amber. So now my mouse look in the same way everywhere, and I experiment only with her clothes and with the background element. I definitely feel like this worm now. My level of energy is quite similar to this one. Here, this one I did with color pencils. I just wanted to do something with this set, which is also not bad on this paper. So mouse again made with Prismacolor fur, and the rest is colored with color pencils. They are better to use with blender here, but I think that they are definitely my probably second best choice for this paper. And finally I have my second favorite. Here we have mouse and duckling. Again, here I'm quite happy with the sky color which I selected and color for the flowers. I think that this very interesting lilac probably color or mauve color, it emphasizes nicely color of the duckling feathers, so that's my second favorite together with lamb. A very nice book, and I hope that I still will be returning to it even during summertime. But I also hope that in the end of June we will talk about my works in summer book, which is also absolutely sweet and gorgeous. Next I have Tales of Two Mountains. Again, I had much bigger plans for this book and I wanted to color more, but in May I did just one page, and I mostly did it because I enjoy to color metals. You probably know that I love to color gold and steel. Here I had good practice how to color steel on the helmet and on the sword. And I tried to stay in limited color palette. I always love this black, yellow and red together with white. It always look very classical and I like this color combo. And I wanted to practice here how to do a very simple, even primitive background with brush and distress inks. Well, for now it looks more like dirt. I know, but yeah. I hope that with practice I will be better with distress inks. Here I just added color here and behind the snake because I wasn't able to imagine any other kind of background which would match this style of picture. I didn't want to do frame and I didn't want to do very intense background color. All I needed is this very light shading. Maybe with soft pastel it would look slightly more accurate, but as I said, I needed somewhere to start practicing. So that was my first page. Apart from this strange background, I do love what I got here. And it also was quite quick work because I think that I already decided for myself what are my favorite colors for steel, for gold, my favorite color combos. So now for me it's not a big problem to color such metals. Then I realized that during last months I totally abandoned my Arteza pencils and they are not so bad, and in many books I enjoy my Arteza pencils. And my best choice for these pencils it's books by Herb Leonhardt. Somehow for me they are really nice on this paper. I don't know why. Maybe also because of the style of the books, brightness and rich colors of Arteza pencils, they are perfect for fantasy style of Herb Leonhardt. So here I did this very playful dragon, and again it was interesting to experiment with the background color and with the color of the stones. I deliberately added everywhere those dark red wine highlights. So color of the background also makes a reflection on the stones here, and this bright yellow helped me to attract attention to the ball which they are playing, and I think that golden dragon also looks interesting. At least in this book I try to experiment with various colors for the dragons. For now I have this orange red, I have green, I have this violet and more like uh, pink violet, probably even magenta violet. And now I have this golden one, so it's a nice practice, but with each new page it started to be more difficult to find new color combo, but I already have plans that maybe my next dragon will be a light blue. It also will be quite interesting. Also in May I tried to use crook books. So I colored both in dark fairy tales and in dark queen and king. Maybe let's start in dark fairy tales. Well, honestly, Mermaid, which I started in May, it didn't finished very successfully, but I will continue to color mermaids in June, so it will be my personal 2 months mermaid. I simply didn't have enough time because of my absence to do all mermaid pictures which I planned, but I will color them in June. And mostly I colored mermaids here in dark fairy tales, and because of the nature of these books, those mermaids, they are slightly creepy. I selected 2 pictures from the story. The first one I called the sacrifice for love, because here we have this moment when mermaid cut her tongue and exchange it for the magical potion. I think that my main idea here was to use this deliberately very intense red color for the blood, and also together with orange on the potion, and to use more limited color palette for the rest of the page. So when you look at it, your eye immediately goes to this focal point of the page because of these bright red orange colors. As usual in this book I combined alcohol markers, and I love so much my Ohuhu markers. They are absolutely must have for me when I color in these books. So they helped me to do water, stone, even first layer on the fishes, on the witch tentacles. And then I worked with polychromos pencils, which are also my favorites here, on her hair, skin. And I discovered that actually on this paper many other brands are also quite helpful. Kohinoor pencils, both Mondeluz and Polycolor, and my couple of available Erogetan pencils, they are also quite nice on this paper. So maybe it's strange, but I really love to work on this paper. Yes, it's thin, yes, it's Amazon paper and this hateful black background, which is not very helpful when you use light shades of markers, but in the end, if you use this technique of marker plus pencils, this paper is really okay. At least I absolutely love how markers blend and stay in lines on this paper, because on many other books with also thin paper, those markers, they spread and blend much worse. So this series is perfect for markers. And second picture from the story of mermaid, it's even more dramatic, because here we have this pair of happy lovers. I again selected these very bright colors for the princess dress, added some decoration on her hair to show that she is a rich princess. For him, well, I tried to do this metal clothes, and it was quite interesting to color those sisters of the mermaid, pushing her to kill them. I selected those greenish blue and with a little bit of yellow colors to show that they are, I don't know, half dead mermaid creatures. It was interesting to do green skin in contrast with her still alive skin. I deliberately used slightly more pinkish, warmer colors for her skin to make good contrast with green skin and with blue scales, which already started to appear on her legs. So it was interesting. And again, I used markers and pencils on top of it to work on details. And apart from it, I did my second picture for Beauty and the Beast. Maybe 3 months ago, when I just got the book, I did my first one, this markers and polychromos again. It was interesting. So this month I decided that I need to do another part of this story, and this one I called Stolen Rose. So I did this golden rose, and here we have this father of the girl. Well, picture by itself wasn't very interesting because of many roots, but for me it was great practice for markers. Again, I tried to combine gray colors, which are absolutely amazing in Ohuhu because there are a variety of grays. Warm, cold, French, greenish, bluish, yellowish grays. And then I added a little bit of additional contrast with pencils. I think that those beige and grey roots, they created good contrast to the very dramatic red background, and hair of the beast, they also look nice together with a red background. So it's in the same time dramatic and pleasantly artistic, I would say. Well, I definitely enjoy these books, and even if in the beginning I was slightly suspicious because of the paper, now when I found my method of combining markers and pencils, I think that I absolutely enjoy, and I don't have any problems with this paper. So very good, really. I'm very happy with all my works here. And in Dark Queen and King, where I promised to do pictures for Egypt theme, which was my second theme for May, I managed to do this pharaoh. Well, it took much longer time comparing to pictures in dark fairy tales, but I tried to work very carefully on each of the details for his gorgeous clothes, all this jewelry, all the weaponry here. Of course, it was challenging to select color for the skin. I never know how to color skin these slightly creepy pictures, but I think that in the end everything worked. I'm especially proud of my very shiny gold. Everything I have done with polychromos pencils. The background, again, it was nice practice for markers, so I try to stay in limited color palette, which is traditional for Egypt pictures. All those cobalt blue, intense green, bright orange red, deep wine brownish red. So I think that I managed to do it in very authentic color palette, and it's definitely one of my best works during May. I also started another one with Enchantress, but I didn't have enough time, so I will finish it in June. Next, I have books by Teresa Goodrich, of course, Teresa Goodrich. I think that she is present in each of my monthly reviews, and in May I have pictures in Country Kitchen and Home Sweet Home. Maybe let's start from this one. In Country Kitchen Charm I did 2 pictures. I already did many pictures here, so for me it's another kind of challenge to do new color of the walls or wallpaper, and to try and to change slightly at least color of the wood. This one is more brownish red, and yeah, I did this weathered clay rose color for the walls. Well, this one was nice to color, interesting to do the texture on the wooden cupboards. I think that those faded blue looks nicely together with faded pink on the walls, and I try to use it on several objects. I love to color metal elements, but that's not my favorite for the May. My favorite is the second picture from the same book, which I called Provence style kitchen. Here I decided to do more dramatic, more intense background color, again new for me in this book, with all those very dark wine red colors. I selected several sources of lights, lamps and candles here, and I selected this very light beige gray color for the cupboard, for the wood. I think that mostly I was attracted to this page because of the beautiful decoration on the doors here, on the drawers. And the most challenging part was how to color all those glasses, especially because of the background color which I selected here, this blue. But I think that at least they are visible, and it looked interesting, this grayish blue together with grayish brown color for the wood. So I'm quite proud of myself, and it was interesting and challenging to color. I also added those elements here to turn this plant into a lavender, so again to add some additional feature because it prevents style kitchen. And maybe that's my favorite so far in this book, but I love to color in it, and I try to do at least 1 picture a month each month. And next one is in Home Sweet Home. I always loved this one because of the unusual composition that we have part of the outside landscape and part of inside a landscape on the same picture. Again, you can see that it was perfect practice for the wood. I don't know if it's visible on camera, but there are different colors for the shelves here, slightly more reddish, and more traditional light amber color for the door and for the entrance, for the ceiling and also for the floor. So I tried to experiment a little bit, like chair and cupboard in one wooden palette and the rest in another one. Very lovely, and it has very nice vibe. Everything is so cozy, many yummy things here. Also was quite nice to color. And this cat, usually I'm not a big fan of coloring animals, but this one, it was a really very nice touch to this composition. So that's another one which I really love. So I promised to do many Egyptian theme pictures in May. I managed to color only yeah, only two of them, and I started third. But I will continue my Egypt marathon in June, so there will be more. In May, I did portrait of young Egyptian princess in Rose and Her Friends by Evelyn van Kertsem. Here is my princess, and I must say that I enjoyed every moment, and I am extremely proud of this work. Here. For me, the best way to color in this book is to use Prismacolor or polychromos pencils. They are best for animals, for hair. Only on her skin I also added additional softer pencils to blend better and to mask pencil strokes. The most interesting part probably was to color her jewelry. Again, I tried to stay in traditional Egyptian color palette when we have a lot of gold and these very bright, beautiful blue colors which always work nicely together with gold. So, yeah, that was easy until I was thinking what to do with the background. I decided to do this round background. Maybe it doesn't have perfect shape, but at least in style I think that it matches the rest of the page. I covered it with golden acrylic paint, so it's very shiny in real life, and I think that it helped me to make this more finished composition, even if I wasn't able to do the rest of the frame here, but I still think that it's still okay. For me, the most frightening part was to color this cat. I didn't know which color palette to use, but in the end, when I did it with this light gray fur and with blue eyes, I think that it was perfect companion to the princess and to this hawk probably. Anyway, I'm very happy that I finished it. Of course, I wanted to do also mermaid from this book, but maybe I will do it in June if I have free time. I continue my marathon with picture in Johanna Basford, and I still hadn't finished my Pika treasury room, and I even lost my bookmark. So where is my Pika picture? Here. That's my progress so far, and I like it, but well, somehow I'm still a little bit frightened how to color actually Pika, because I'm not a big fan that body consists of something like leaves. I prefer the bird to look like a real bird with feathers, so I need to decide how to transform it into more realistic looking bird. But well, you can see that I did a lot of work on all those objects which we have here, standing, hanging. Yeah, it was challenging. I tried to divide them into several color groups to be able to color them quicker and to have more well-balanced composition, but of course the most frequently used color was gold and various shades of brown also. Well, so progress is not bad, but I'm not very happy with my speed. I hope to finish it much quicker. Well, anyway, my only excuse is that it's very detailed. Well, next let's have a look at Symphony of Cute Animals. Actually, this page I started in the end of April, so in first days of May I simply finished it. And here I have my birds, the nest, and it was my first test for watercolor in this book. Well, I can't say that it was like 100% perfect. In Japanese editions of Rhapsody and Menoid, I think that watercolor behaves better. At least that's how I feel. But for this primitive kind of background when I just applied a little bit of water and a little bit of watercolor pigment to create light shading around the rest. Well, it was helpful. At least that's what I needed for this page, especially for the area near the lily of the valleys. This blue color helped me to color these white flowers easier when it created good contrast. Maybe my favorite part here is birds. Obviously, it was fun to color their dark feathers and orange feathers on the necks. And I do love those pink flowers which I did here. Well, when I did background, I realized that they are actually very close in color to the colors for the eggs. When background was white, eggs looked probably better. But well, I added a little bit of highlights for them to be more visible. So that probably was the one challenging moment here. Otherwise, I think that it has a very nice spring vibe. It was really nice to color all those flowers. And this one I did with polychromos pencils because I was asked on my Patreon to use polychromos more frequently. And what can I say? I can't say that I love polychromos on this paper. Definitely it was much more challenging comparing to coloring with Prismacolors. Prismacolors are also not I don't know what are best pencils for this paper. I have problems with layering and covering paper with all pencils. Paper isn't similar to Manuet. But with Prismacolors I color quicker. Here I colored more slowly, and only for the birds probably they were a better choice comparing to Prismas. For the rest I slightly struggled. So maybe for my next projects I will stay with Prismacolor pencils, and with polychromoses I will be coloring in Kerberos, in other books where paper is better suitable. Next is my Clara Markova. Here I did extremely colorful page in April, if you remember my strange dragon, and in May I did even more colorful page, but it was quite understandable because I did hummingbird. Here is my picture which I colored with neocolors for the background and with polychromos for the rest. Well, it was nice to color all the flowers, but of course my favorite part, reason why I selected this one, was to color feathers on hummingbirds. And you can see that I did many color combos starting from orange yellow with touch of magenta, then magenta violet blue, blue greenish with touch of turquoise. So it was fun, and I think that hummingbird definitely looks quite like bird from fairy tales. Very nice. Well, other elements, I don't know. First I was thinking that maybe dress of the girl could be a white or lemon yellow, then I realized that it would be in the same color as the background. So in the end I think that it's perfectly picture in my style, very brightful, with my favorite blue and violet and pink colors, which I put everywhere, I believe. And it was quite easy to color, so I didn't have any problems apart from shading 2 times my background. First layer of neocolors looked too plain and pale, so when I finished to color with pencils, I added a little bit more intense pigment in the corners and a little bit of white paint like halo around these bigger flowers. But hummingbird, it was so fun to color. I also started mermaid picture here, but I just did the background, so I will return to it in June. And finally, love of my life, Kerberos. And again, when in May I tried to plan what I want to color, I wanted to do Egyptian spread here, you know, with 2 beautiful birds and with Egyptian background. But I ended with 3 other pictures. That's story of my life. I plan one thing and then I color, well, similar but not exactly what I planned. But I'm quite happy with all 3 pictures which I finished here. Well, this one, honestly, I didn't plan to color until I was asked, because I saw many beautiful variations of this page and I wasn't sure that I can do something beautiful from myself. Then I started to look closer here and I decided to start from shelves. And if we have the waterfall, the thing which we usually connect with waterfall, it's a rainbow, which we can very frequently see above the water. And I decided that I can use this idea for doing rainbow shelves. So that's why I have red, orange, yellow, green and violet shelves. I skipped blue, obviously, in the rainbow, because blue I have here on the water. I don't know if it's visible on the screen, but even on water I have 2 color palettes. More bluish turquoise here for some of the strays of falling water which are in front, and for this water with foam and sprinkles. Also the same more cobalt bluish water I used here and behind the ship. But on the sides here and beneath the books I used slightly different color palette, which is slightly more with violet tint into it. I used light ultramarine. Everything here I did with polychromos pencils, and I absolutely love how they behave in Kirby Razane's books. Yes, it's not the quickest way to color, and my hand and arm started to be tired if I have enough time to color a lot during one day. But usually I color for 1 hour, so I have plenty of time to give some break for my hand until the next day. So anyway, I experimented with various combos of polychromos pencils for the water, more violet, more clear blue, more bluish turquoise, and I did this waterfall. Well, I'm quite happy that I did it, because without this prompt probably I wouldn't start this page by myself. And then again, when I remembered how much I love to color metals, I decided to do this background. Well, honestly, I wanted to color only crown on the right, but then somehow I did both of them. I always loved them, but I never know what to do with the background. And I decided that they are so beautiful by themselves that they don't require anything complicated for the background. So for both pictures I used acrylic paint for the background for the first layer, and then I added additional color accents like this shiny halo here, and actually here the background it's very dark Payne's gray without water, so it looks almost black, but in real life it has slightly bluish tint like we have in Payne's gray. And on top of it I put a light halo. This one is more blue-gray initially paint, but on top of it I added crayons in light aqua green, light violet and dark blue colors. I finally managed to use my gel crayons from King Art and also Distress crayons. So it was interesting practice. Maybe that was one of the reasons why I started to do these pages. Actually, crayons behaved quite interesting on top of acrylic. For me, it's definitely one of the ways which I want to continue to experiment. Yeah, it's definitely very difficult to catch on the screen with my camera, but in real life I can see when I have this initial background color and additional color accents in more violet, more green, more blue colors, and it was actually a very quick way of doing background. I definitely didn't have enough patience or time to do background with pencils, and soft pastel for me was too plain. At least I don't know how to do beautiful intense backgrounds with soft pastel. With acrylic it's more fun, and yeah. At least background on the right I absolutely love. On the left was so-so, but it's my first step in using these gel crayons. Crayons itself I absolutely love, and for me it was total joy to do them from the first moment until the last moment. That's probably why I managed to color both of them. Well, I cheated and I used the same color palettes for the gold, for the water, for some of the gemstones, but I also tried to do them in slightly different way. So for this night crown I tried to do black barrel. This one has white barrels. At least I tried to do them as white barrels. I also did tried to use different colors for the gemstones. Here more blue and aquamarine. Here more emeralds and ruby, together with maybe a little bit of amethysts. So it was quite interesting, quite pleasant, and well, again, I am so happy that I returned to this book, because I didn't color in it for maybe for 5 months. I don't remember. Maybe in December I did my last works here, because I switched to Mythic Vault and this one was slightly abandoned, and now in 1 month I finished 3 works. I am proud of myself and I am very happy that they turned exactly like I imagined them. And I think that in June I finally will start that page which I planned for such a long time, this spread. I hope that in the end of June I will be able to show you my finished work here. Well, I probably won't be filming my June plans again, because everything here I film in advance in May. So I simply will continue in June to color all those pictures which I didn't have time to color in May. More mermaids and more Egyptian pictures, and of course it will be a lot of mythographic works, because somehow I want to color more in Wanderlust. I already can imagine at least several pictures in that book in full color. I have color palettes on my mind. I even put some notes on the pictures how I want to color them. So when I return, I hope that I will be able to color them quickly and it will be interesting, because for me Wanderlust is challenging, so I will be very happy to color something there. Thank you, and I hope that you have a wonderful first days of summer and that you had a very productive and very pleasant spring. Thank you, and I will see you very soon.